Thank you for joining us for another episode of Edmonton Real Estate Today, where we help you care for your home and maximize the return on your investment. We have some questions from our viewers, and the first question is from Loretta. And Loretta asked, how much is my house worth, and could I use the city assessed value?
And of course, LeRoy, all of us realtors would say, no, Loretta, don't use the city assessment. The city assessment numbers are from last year numbers, so they're not current data. So if you chat with your realtor, they're actually going to give you the current numbers instead of last year's numbers.
And Sheryl, the other consideration Loretta should have is the fact that the city does their assessments on a mass basis as opposed to property specific.
Right. And then LeRoy, I've actually also heard that the city actually has a 10% margin of error when doing their actual assessed values. So keeping in mind that if the average single family price for January 2021 here is $427,000 for your average single family home, then that really means if there's a 10% margin of error, that means that we could be out by $43,000. And Jade was saying that they're ready to buy their first home, but they know a house is out of their budget. So they're looking at purchasing either a condo or a duplex, and they didn't know which was the smarter decision.
Well, I think the Real Estate Association of Edmonton reported the average price of a condominium for January of 2021 is $217,000, whereas a duplex was reported at $344,000. That would be one consideration.
Yeah, and I think the other consideration that Jade needs to keep in mind is that when you're purchasing a condo, you also get condo fees. So it doesn't matter of the style of condo, but you will have a condo fee that you'll have to pay. And depending on if it's an apartment style condo, you might have a little higher condo fee because usually your utilities will be in there, and or maybe other amenities like pools and gyms. So your condo fee may be a little higher. So keeping that in mind compared to if you're actually going to a row house or a duplex where they typically don't have condo fees, that may be part of your decision making.
So Sheryl, I have a question here from Santiago. And Santiago is asking, how long should I expect it to take for my house to sell?
Right, and I would say, there's many variables that you have to consider, and again, that could be, how well your house shows and how much the supply and demand for your area. But one thing I can tell you for sure is the average single family house was taking 59 days to sell in the month of January. Condos were at 73, and duplexes and row houses were at 70. So that at least will give you a ballpark number.
A key tip I always give to my clients is simply that they should look at the history on that property. Because if it was listed before with a different realtor, it will not show up on days on market. So the cumulative days on market is probably more indicative of how long that property has been on the market compared to days on market. All right, Sheryl, we have another question here from Amar. And Amar is asking, does the amount of homes for sale in my area affect my selling price?
Yes, it sure does, right? It's always a supply and demand situation. So again, Amar, if there's lots of homes for sale in your area, it's definitely going to change the impact for your house sale. So again, it may affect it negatively. And again, if there's not a lot of houses in your area for sale, again, supply and demand means that you could probably potentially ask a little more. So it would be in your favor.
And Sheryl, one of the other things Amar could keep in mind that the inventory levels right now, for example, that the Real Estate Association of Edmonton reported for January of 2021 is just about 5,200 homes for sale. The number of new listings that have come to the board is about 2,400, whereas the amount of sales was just below 1,200. What that actually translates to is just slightly above 4 months of inventory, which keeps us still in a balanced market, but just barely. With a little shift on inventory or a few more sales, we could easily slip into a seller's market. Well, Sheryl, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to give us our market update for January of 2021.
You were very welcome, LeRoy, and I sure hope the viewers enjoy the information, and definitely if they have questions, they shouldn't hesitate to give me a call, because I'd love to give them a little bit more detail or answer more questions with their property specific. And I also think they should subscribe.
Me too. I think they should remember to subscribe. Thanks, Sheryl.